because if you don't have like the interaction on the turn you need it, you're just gonna lose.
Yeah, you play 3 group shot, 3 pokey stick, 2 single combat, and then you just run over the Kennen players because you have enough aggression that they end up having to commit their mana pre-committal, and then you just fuck them.
And then you shoot them again. Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
Kennen
I
player.
agree. I think
That's what I
in
lose.
theory, yes.
That's not in theory. I've played this from the Kennen. I played this from both sides. The only time I lose against Poppy with the Kennen decks is when they're bringing the interaction.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, all the Poppy decks have interaction now.
You have to have the two. You have to have the second.
You need 2.
What about
right?
this?
You need like
yes. Well, sorry, those of us that have been in Masters since last week.
Oh wow.
Have been playing against our man Hanzo. He's been on that for a while, and then I was on it also for a while. And the Kennen players have just started to adapt and figure it out. Like I just played, admittedly only one game against BBG, but like I had a deck full of removal, and once the Kennens get leveled, all your fucking ping effects not so exciting.
Well, why are you on a Kennen level? It's just to kill him.
Well,
to be fair,
so he had 2 of the landmark, and he fucking just like landmark.
Okay, like
replay. Oh, they leveled. Yeah, his draw was good. His draw was good. But the fact that my deck was geared to be his deck, and I still just couldn't get there was like, this deck is.
Decks built to counter the best deck have not beat the best deck all the time since the beginning of time.
Yeah,
right?
that's kind of like the definition of a tier 1.
For sure.
We can argue over tier 1 and tier 0 deck, but like the high tier 1 decks, what they do is sometimes with their counters, they just fuck them.
I mean, it's just we have to accept that it's a card game, and like 70-30 matchups, you still lose 30% of the time.
Which is a lot. I played Fire Emblem.
Bar.
I know how often that happens.
Anyone who's played freaking like what's that shooting game? The turn-based shooting
XCOM?
game. Where you miss Anyone who's played XCOM knows how much a 5% miss chance is. 30% is a lot, man.
Yeah. It's funny because you walk into a 60-40. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm gonna finish my point.
No, you're
then I'm gonna give it back to you. It's funny because you walk into a 60-40, like you can't lose. You're just like, I'm so favored, and then like you're gonna lose 40% of the time.
I think a lot of the times that's like how we go about building our lineups, right? It's we're like, oh, I'm like triple favored. I should be good to go. And it's like, well, I mean, kind of, but you're losing a lot of the time, just like statistically, right?
Yeah.
And like this Kennen Ezreal deck is incredibly strong to the point where like Poppy Teemo, like even if it runs a lot of interaction, is probably even into it, right? So like you're not going to win every time. You're going to lose half the time. You know, it's just it's hard to like conceptually get around that and be like, okay, even though I'm hard teching, I'm still losing a lot. And it's like, yeah, you're going to, because this deck's really fucking strong.
Yeah. A little upset that Ahri is kind of like being super overshadowed, because like every time I play Ahri, I'm like, I need to just be playing the Ezreal version. It's just like I just actually kill people. Drizzle's super big on the Ahri with gifts, and I'm just not about it.
I was having a lot of luck with Ahri Go Hard. That was actually really fun for a while. But
Ahri Go Hard.
Yeah, I was doing Kennen Ahri Go Hard with pods, and I was actually winning a bunch of the mirrors.
Oh right, of course. Yeah, I was basically similar. Ahri Feel the Rush. I was having quite a bit of success.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm feeling mocked right now.
I owe my chat Ahri Feel the Rush. I told them before Ahri was released that I was like, when Ahri hits Runeterra, I'll build Ahri Feel the Rush for thematic purposes. It's her card. The Feel the Rush animation, that's her. When she like snaps the heart or whatever.
Oh.
That's her. Yeah.
It was Akali.
No.
Akali is like go get it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
the Feel the Rush is a heart. That's Ahri's charm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be honest, and like most of the time I see these Ahri lists, I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. Why am I playing Kennen without Ezreal again?
Yeah, that's
like even if this is like really good, this has to be like insane to beat Kennen. Like for me to not be running Kennen Ezreal, right? Like you know, there's a lot of cool things you can do with Ahri. Like Ahri takes one buff and spreads it across your entire board a lot of the times, right?
It's insane.
So, like, you know, Twin turns into like 15 damage for some fucking reason.
Yeah,
they can't deal with it, right? But it's fragile and it's not better than Ezreal.
No, I'm totally with you. There's a lot of times I played like an Ahri deck, won 65% of my games, you know, over the course of like 5 games or whatever, and then gone, damn, and then switched back to Kennen Ezreal because you're like, it's just not as powerful, you know? It's like, it's just not as good, and that's fine. You know, nothing's gonna be. That's how being the best deck in the format works, right? And things generally aren't as good. But I'm happy that Ahri is playable.
the reason that I was having success with the version I was running was specifically because a lot of people were in that kind of period of time they were bringing Gangplank, like the TFGP or the GP Sedge, as like the how you counter the Kennen deck, and I think those decks are favored in a Kennen because they just can kind of run you over. And trying to play that deck into a Kennen deck that also has packets that can also pack your bags is hell. So that's why I was having fun with that.
That's one of my favorite cards just in the game. Or with Go Hard.
Which one?
Go Hard.
Yeah, go hard is super fun.
Yo, Bitter, 12 months. Thanks so much, man. I just changed the sub badges, so you should have a new one, I think.
This is our weekly reminder to remind Bay that this is a podcast that we at least on things.
It is?
We do put it on YouTube and stuff, but how are you gonna tell me to not shout out the 12-month subbers?
We'll just cut that part.
Oh, the full year?
The full year.
I'm gonna be real though. Isn't it like one of the things that people do on YouTube all the time? They go, "Hi YouTube, I was there,"
Yep.
and then everybody likes that part.
Yep. We don't have the chat though. That might be something we should look into, is having the chat scrolling like on one of the
That would
corners.
actually be really cool.
That'd be super sick. Yeah, that's like
that I
okay.
wouldn't have to alt tab to chat all the time to see what's going on, and you wouldn't have to yell at me for failing to mute myself and sounding like Dancing Spider.
Yep, I have OBS, so I just get to see. I have OBS Studio. I just get to see it all.
I have
Facts.
2 monitors.
Damn, bro, you fancy. I have to keep
Flex
track of the OBS Ninja thing on the other monitor because sometimes your guys' colors get wonky and I have to fix it. This happens a lot. I don't know why.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, ladder, that meta, interesting. What I want to talk about, which I think is much more interesting, at least for me, is the tournament meta, because there's like all kinds of stuff going on over there. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at the top 8 deck lists from the first qualifier that my man somewhere over here, Jordan, came second in.
He's to your
but,
bottom right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
There was all kinds of stuff in there. There was like there was like a what was her name? Diana. There was a Diana deck. Was there an Aphelios deck? I don't know. There was a Zillion deck.
Yeah, we saw Mono Zillion. That was hilarious.
Mono Zillion.
Zillion.
What was it?
It was this like
Shellfolk.
it was Mono Zillion Shellfolk with the like predict Shellfolk going.
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
and then some of the like the mecha yordles and then a bunch of pings to shoot cannons. I think
That's so sick. Someone give me a list. I want to try that.
it was pretty awesome.
If only you had a website that it was on.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that'd be nice.
I
Right?
think like I think Shurima Shellfolk is like actually really close. I think it was like good. It was like almost.
It was almost
right?
there.
And
Yeah.
We figured out that server was just better.
Mhm.
I've been trying it with Rumble to be like just a mid-range deck that just has like Shellfolk value on top. I don't know if it's like great, but like the Mech Yordles are like really cool for this package. So I don't know. The list seems
Interesting.
interesting.
I was playing
Yeah.
Zoe Rumble's Shellfolk today for a couple of games on ladder.
How'd that
It
go?
was really fun.
God.
It was stupid.
Anyways,
It was fun.
what I was getting at though is that the meta seems to be like wide open, crazy wide open. Like out of the top 8 decks, like I think maybe 2 had 2 decks, or maybe 0 had 2 decks that were the same. It was like that close. And so I'm really curious to get everyone's thoughts on like what the tournament meta is like and maybe like where it's headed and stuff. Because it was still week 1. People didn't have a lot of time to figure out new lineups and stuff. And Jordan, you obviously played in the tournament, came in second. Congratulations again. I'd love to get your thoughts and everyone else's. There's the tournament coming up on Thursday, and then we have our second qualifier on Sunday. It looks like a bit of a brewer's paradise. Like you can play just about anything. Mono Zillion, why not get it on there?
That sounds so sick.
So I think that like beginning of every season is definitely the widest format moment. And specifically right now, the reason that you can kind of go so wide is because the most powerful things have really, really easy to build tier 2 counters, if that makes sense. Like Kennen Ez, you can bring basically any deck that doesn't put units onto the field or a Gangplank deck, and you're going to be feeling pretty good. The Poppy Yordle nonsense, you bring like anything mid-range knock that has a billion ruble spells in it, you're probably feeling okay. And what that does is it makes the meta really wide because people can, and I don't want to say fool themselves, right? But people can play basically whatever they want and have a plan while they're doing it. They can say, this is what I'm trying to do. And that means that people can show up with absolutely fuck all, right? And that's
Yeah,
kind of
and
what
still
I
do
did.
well.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did. I'm not gonna lie. I decided I feel like playing Control. Everybody tells me Control's dead. Fuck you all. I'm bringing it to a tournament, and it worked. So,
Can I play Anivia
Yeah.
right now?
yes,
You were,
Anivia is
you were-
so good.
for anyone that doesn't know, Jordan, you were on Field of Rush, Lee Sin, Zoe, and
Brawls.
Thralls.
Oh, it was almost my open rounds lineup.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Yeah, so literally the hey Kennen, I have no units to target .dex.
No, actually, I was actually banning Kennen.
Yeah.
Because Kennen destroys
Farm
Lee
sleep.
Sin. And the problem with Kennen is the way I built my lineup. If they ban my Thralls deck, then they farm Lee, and it's actually about even into FTR, unfortunately, because they have the stuns and the homecomings. So the way I was doing it, I was just banning Kennen, and I was just eating all of the mid range decks like Gangplank, Scion, anyone who showed up with Demacia. It was just good times.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I slept through Master Runeterra check-in, so I just went and top 4 OLS instead.
Solid.
Easy.
Solid.
And I mean,
Flex.
I was running like double Shellfolk plus Kennen Ezreal, right? And like the whole time I just like farmed Kennen Ezreal and farmed Lee Sin. And like there was a ton of it in OLS. I only lost when I ran to Dudu to Nunu on like the fucking, Lulu Fizz plus Teemo Poppy plus aggro bullshit. It's like, okay, well, I'm like 50-50 into this and I didn't draw very well, so.
Sorry, what was your lineup?
Glorious Evolution Shellfolk, Lux Poppy, and Kennen Ezreal.
It was your
And I
seasonal.
just like opted in
Kennen
and just, like,
Ezreal.
cheating on Kennen Ezreal. Yeah. And like Lee Sin, I hard farmed Lee Sin like all day.
So those Shellfolk decks have a really good Kennen Ezreal matchup. Is that what you're saying?
GE Shellfolk especially, just because you have like a million pings and you can fight them on the stack and like you just outvalue them, right? Like you just run them out of cannons most of the time, and like you have interaction for Ezreal and like you kill them early, and Shellfolk like fucks with their hand so they can't actually kill you. I mean,
Pranks were kind of nuts.
yeah, pranks are like really fucking good, and
I'm not
most of
gonna
the
lie.
people who are bringing Kennen Ezreal were bringing Lee Sin, so they have to ban my Lux Poppy anyway, right? I think it's still like fine into Kennen Ezreal. I think that's like winnable, like maybe slightly favored, but yeah.
So, I'm not gonna lie. The idea of bringing the Shellfolk deck and calling it favored into decks that are running 2 or 3 deny, I still don't understand.
Well, you just never play for Glorious Evolution in those matchups, right?
Then why is it in your deck? If those are your 2 targeting things, why are you playing
against a
it?
bunch of other shit? What do you
Says
mean?
the guy playing Field of
Don't you-
Rush. What are you talking about?
You just prank it out of their hand. So you prank the deny out of their hand, and then on turn 10 you can play it with
Okay,
deny
okay.
back.
Okay, do you want to have Trundle or Shellfolk that wins the game? Oh, Ice
Okay,
Pillar.
Trundle's pretty good at
Oh.
winning the game.
Yeah.
By
You
itself?
you
When was
can't-
the last time a Trundle won by itself? Come on.
Like twice during
What?
the
Yeah,
tournament.
come
we
on.
both top 32.
Literally
Come
twice
on.
during the
We
tournament.
both top 32
Please.
to Field of Rush. This is the wrong section of
Please.
people to talk about this.
We both told 32. You went 7-2, kids. I went 7-2 as well. And then you both ran my lineup. Okay, so like, oh, we made it. Whatever.
Trundle wins plenty of games on his own, Jason. You're bad mouthing the wrong troll.
There's
Compared to a Shellfolk?
Yes.
yeah.
Come on, bro. Shellfolk.
Trundle's your win condition for like a lot of matchups. A lot of matchups where like Field of Rush is terrible, Trundle's how you win the game. Anything with deny, basically.
Yeah. Okay, all I'm saying is Shellfolk, very good.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's
I'm not
very
arguing
similar in
that.
that, like, against the deny decks, you just are like, okay, well, I'm not playing for Glorious Evolution. If I can get it off, I get it off. But really, I'm just trying to like outvalue you, and I'm just trying to fuck your hand with Shellfolk.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. There's a lot of times
Can
against. Good.
Can we just play 2 Glorious Evolution? Do we need all 3?
I could be down.
Again. What is it called? Sky's Descent guy over here. Fucking just, who are you? Just Mr. Hypocrisy today.
Imagine running win conditions.
I have not played Skies Descent, I think, for literally 6 months now. I got better. I realized
Peppered
I had a problem.
arms.
I went to get therapy.
Remembers.
I got better.
I appreciate that. I mean, one of my favorite decks in Magic, what really got me into competitive scene was the Elixir of Immortality Sphinx's Revelation deck in Standard.
Oh, God.
The no win condition deck. The point where you play Elixir and you look at them and you wait for them to concede. You know, it's like turn 14, you know, Elixir of Immortality, and they just go, would you like to scoop?
I played those mirrors, and in competitive tournaments, those were often one-game mirrors.
Yeah, I love those mirrors. And that's
for
when, like,
people without a Magic background, can you give me the
yeah, okay.
on that?
So
Yeah,
nerds. You literally play counter spells and kill spells. That's
in
it.
Magic, you can counter. In Magic, you can counter units.
You can counter units.
You
Yeah.
can deny a unit.
Yeah, I forget that that's a thing that you and can't do in Runeterra. That I tried to deny so many units. I was like, what the fuck? I have this counter spell in my hand, and they just played Lee Sin, and I couldn't counter it. What's going on? But yeah, so you play draw spells to gain you life, counter spells, and kill spells. And your only win condition is a 1-mana artifact that says pay a certain amount of mana, gain a certain amount of life, like gain 5 life or something, shuffle your graveyard and your deck together, including the elixir, right? So you literally wouldn't win the game. Yeah, you just play until your opponent would lose the game because they'd run out of cards.
So they deck.
So yeah, so what they'd have to do is you get 30 minutes into game 1, and you had this shit locked 8 minutes in, right? But they have to keep playing because like maybe they'll get there, and then they would have to forfeit to save time to try to beat you 2 times in the rest of the match. But then what Jordan was talking about was the mirror it's like a 50-minute round, but the mirror game 1 would take like 40 minutes, even though you're both hauling ass. And so what you'd do is you'd pack your sideboard with like 1 and 2 mana threats, and then because like you're gonna board out like your kill spells, and you just try to like cheese them like as fast as possible. Bro, those are the
sideboard.
It was dumb. My point is, I do not want that for Runeterra.
I love that, dude. I'd splash the black for nothing in the main, and then I'd bring in 4 pack rats. It was so baller.
It's basically like the Anivia mirror.
Yes,
but worse. It was so much worse.
Except in a Anivia mirror, you could actually win the game. And
yeah, no reckonings. There's no reckonings allowed.
You literally would draw your card.
It's like if you were playing an Anivia deck and you took out Rekindler and Harrowing, and you just decided,
Harrowing, that's what I meant.
This is fine. I'll win the game eventually.
And you also have 6 denies.
Anyways,
you'd take your turn and you'd play a land and you'd pass, and that's what would happen for about 10 turns. And then one person would miss their land drop, so they'd have to try to play something like a Jace to try to draw cards, and then you just fight over it. And then you go, it's just counterspell, 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 counterspell.
Not that. We're gonna not do that in this game.
Prime card gaming right there, dude.
We'll get there.
That's that pre-game shit.
Okay, so here's the thing though. In this, what do you guys think is actually like the best? Like imagine seasonals was tomorrow. You know, imagine like an important tournament, you had to lock something in. You know, what are you thinking what you would bring? What are you thinking is the best? What do you think it would be the most popular? I've seen a lot of people take, you know, we did it, multiple people here, took 2 good decks, jammed Ezreal Kennen in as the third. I'd imagine you see a decent amount of that, but are there better Ezreal Kennen lineups? Give me all your thoughts.
I mean, I'd show up with what I brought today tomorrow. So
I would probably bring Ezreal Kennen, Poppy Rally, and Zoe Lee because I'm comfortable and I just dare people to beat me. Be like, what you got bad?
I think Kennen Ezreal plus Lee Sin is like a great start to a lineup.
Mm-hmm.
You are priced into banning Kennen Ezreal, but you beat so much other shit that it doesn't really matter, right?
Wounded Whiteflame is exactly as good as we thought it would be. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Pretty.
It's kind of okay.
That card's nuts. We're sitting there whining about Targon. They're like, just wait, bro. Just hold out 2 more months. We got you.
Yeah, Lee Sin in both Jordan and Black Boss's deck lists, both the finals deck lists. Deck just keeps on ticking.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm hearing is if I had played Master and Terra, I would have just farmed my way to the top. All these Lee players, God.
There actually weren't that many of us though. Like I don't think I don't see another Lee Sin player until Black Boss in the finals. So there were only a couple.
But they performed.
Yeah.
I brought Lee Sin, Kennen, and then I brought Plunder. So pretty much the same thing, but just with Plunder as a third deck. But I'm kind of surprised there are going to be like counter Kennen lineups that will actually at least do what they're supposed to be doing. So like Thralls was actually pretty popular. I believe even in top 8 and throughout the tournament, I ran into Thrall's deck. I didn't really know how to play the matchup, and then I kind of lost. So I think like there's always that opportunity for like Kennen decks to be countered, but I think I'd still run it anyways, just because it's just so strong into a lot of other things, and you can like bring 2 other decks that beat up Thralls as well, and so you just have like 1 week matchup there. But maybe like Kennen Ez and Plunder into Thrall seems a little bit bad, so I might ditch that for like a Poppy deck or something.
Poppy just seems
How
to
do we
beat
feel about
A lot of things
go
right
ahead.
now. Shocker, I know.
Poppy?
Yeah.
What were you
pretty
gonna
good.
say, Kiddo?
I was just gonna ask how we feel about Kennen Ezreal into Plunder. Because I
Plunder
feel like,
can't win.
I feel like it was supposed to be Plunder favored, but the more
Plunder
I play
can't win.
it doesn't.
Can't win.
It feels like Kennen Ezreal.
Plunder can't win.
I think
it's
they
so
can
bad.
win, but I
Of
think
course,
that
of course. It's
Kennen,
a
like-
terrible matchup.
I have,
Terrible matchup.
Yeah.
Like real bad. I'm like 70-30.
when
Yeah,
I lose
yeah.
the matchup, it's because they make it rain and just got there. But then I
Does
start
it-
playing
did-
Dopifies.
Oh,
But
Yeah,
then
are
it's
we
the
not on
second
Dopifies yet?
make it rain, right? That gets
Yeah,
me.
you're supposed. No, okay. I played Plunder all through Plat, all the way up to Diamond, and then I just ran to. I was beating Kennen Ezreal when you was super early, and then people kind of started figuring out the matchup, and then I was just losing more and more and more and more to the point where I wasn't really winning at all. Then I jumped on Kennen Ezreal, and I was farming the crap out of Plunder players, to the point where like I'm not bringing that deck into Kennen Ezreal ever.
Yeah.
Like all you have to do, like if you're, and same with Ping City. I picked up Ping City next, was crushing the Ezreal whatever.
Kennen.
Why can I not remember? Kennen deck was crushing it. People figured it out. They stopped just slamming the 4-drop into red card and stuff. And you just play those matchups a little bit slower. You either just don't do anything if they have mana up, and in which case the game just keeps going later. Or you can use like the landmark to start activating more, or you can use Eye of the Dragon and flip Kennens that way. And once the Kennens flip, it's really tough for those decks full of ping spells to actually kill off your Kennens and stuff. And then if they're spending all this time trying to kill your Kennens, like they're spending a bunch of mana typically, and you're just gonna, when the game goes to turn 6 or 7, you have a bunch of mana, a bunch of cards, a bunch of resources, you're just gonna blow them the fuck out. And that's what I keep seeing happening like again and again and again.
You can literally just print I have the dragon with landmark versus Pink City. Yeah. I think, was it Jordan pointed this out? Like halfway through.
Jason Station, actually.
Oh, it was Jason Station. Yeah, halfway through day. No, it wasn't you. Okay, someone in our.
I think
Discord-
Panicky.
we got it from Alan, right?
I don't know.
I saw it on like Alan's stream, and then I suddenly heard like 3 people say the exact same thing about
Okay.
like getting the double Eye of the Dragon.
Yeah, and you do the eye, the tree, retreat your turn, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden you win. Because like Pink City, if you can keep an eye alive, you just win. And if you get the second eye, the game actually is over. And yeah, it's pretty nuts.
I think one thing that's really funny about the Kennen Ezreal deck is everyone's like, "Oh, I have this counter. I'm just gonna run 3 box. I'm just gonna red card them when they play this Wayfinder." It's like, these aren't real counters, guys. Like,
Yeah.
just people will figure out. Just don't Wayfinder on 4,
Mhm.
and like that's it. Suddenly I win,
Yeah.
right? Because you're running the fucking box against me. Seriously, you think that's gonna help? It's not.
And you just kept 4 mana open for 3 turns.
Yeah.
You're so far behind now.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then what happens when I Wayfinder on like 7 with like 6 mana backing up? Like, what the fuck are you
Exactly.
gonna do? Like,
I'm
you're not
wondering if
killing my
there's
guys.
a good like build Shadow Isles deck right now.
Someone was suggesting keg control.
Yeah, like a cake
I
control.
mean, I used to run
Go
TF,
hard.
like 2 or 3 seasons ago. I was running TF Viego to really good effect.
Yeah.
Hey, that went really well for you. You were running like,
hard, right?
were you on the TF Sivir plan? No.
No, I had TF in the Viego deck, but
TF Sivir was kind of
I
lit.
was
back then.
anti-Zipper.
That deck was tight. Yeah, you liked TF Viego. I liked Viego without Thresh, and Pushby really liked Thresh Viego. That's right. We all had our flavor of shirtless emo man.
Sorry, Kira, what did you say? You got
About
cut off.
which part? I don't.
I don't-
know.
like,
no,
About
I said, like,
shirtless
just what?
thing.
You could just try like go hard, right? You could just
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, go hard, and then probably make it like you kind of like
okay, go hard.
yeah, and just lean a little, maybe less on the go hard plan than like previous go hard decks, and just run like the Make It Rain Vile Feast go hard, because I think it's just good.
I'm
cards.
not gonna lie. Every time I try to pick up like with the exception of the one like Ahri kind of go hard deck I was able to pick up. Anytime I try to pick up a different go hard deck lately, I look at it and I'm like, this gets so much better when I take go hard out. Why am I not just
Yeah.
playing like an SI pressure control
Yeah,
deck?
It's
it
just
got power cut.
it's just not there anymore.
And also, that's not what you want. You don't want slow spells against them, because if you're initiating the action into the Kennen deck, you're just gonna get blown out every time. Like they get to
For one
respond.
mana, it's okay.
Yeah,
Is-
you hold up your.
Yeah, but now you're down a card too, though, right? Like they do like produce a lot of card advantage with the 4-drop and with the Kennen like removal spells. And like I've had lots of times where I just ran out of cards. Like they just like outvalued me.
On the topic
wonder-
go hard, I have been playing like this Shrima SI like.
You back on Zillion Nasus?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
And I put in like, so like I saw like a Kaido playing Shellfolk into Kennen, and like I realized it's pretty much like a pure value matchup. If you don't have enough removal lined up for it, kind of falls apart. And so I'm like running catalog, and so like sometimes you just like catalog, you have to go hard, Vile Feast, whatever. Sometimes you have like, a couple time bombs, but it still falls into the same issue that like once Kennen levels, it's kind of difficult. But then like you just like it becomes this like weird solitaire kind of game where like you just drag the game on, you never play units, you ruinate a couple times, you pack like 4 times, and you just try to win the game that way. It's really cheesy, but like there are like these weird like convoluted strategies that could like beat up Kennen. But like any deck that like tries to rely on pings needs like play for like a value gameplay, or just like be able to generate more of it.
Mhm.
And like it's really hard for other decks to do that. Like Plunder can't do that, TFGP can't do that. And I think that's like where a lot of decks that try to counter Kennen kind of fail, because when I don't draw catalog, I just don't do anything really.
Yeah.
Piggybacking off of Florent, I think that you're right if you're trying to kill the Kennens, I don't know if there's enough fast speed pings in any region that isn't Bandle City. Like you have to be running Bandle City to have pokey sticks and like group shots to actually have a shot at killing Kennens, I think. You know? Because otherwise, you know, so go hard, right? Like I think in general it'd be like, okay, cool, I have Vile Feast and Make It Rain. But a lot of times it doesn't feel like that's enough, especially if you're having to initiate with like one of those, or I guess you just have a perfect hand where you initiate with Go Hard and then have like 2 pings to back it up. But that doesn't beat like Twin. That doesn't beat like 1 mana recall.
Yeah.
Like Twin's broken as fuck in that deck, by the way.
Twin's so good. in that
You
deck.
think that
Yeah.
it's like, no, I'm good, but no, I twin
Yeah.
and I suddenly traded for 3 of your cards.
I've been offensively twinning a lot because people are like, can't block the Kennen, and then you're like, okay, take 6. And I kill you. Like that comes up, and then they'll sit there and go, okay, I have this ping, and then this ping, and they're loading it up, and they start with the cheap one, and they're like, I'm gonna get him when he recalls, and you just twin and buff toughness, and they're like, damn.
Twin is
Damn.
is like super good in the mirror because like they want to try and kill your shit ever.
Mhm.
Like by throwing stuns at it, you just twin. And it's like, oh well, I guess I could throw 6 marks at this thing to try and fucking kill it, but that's never gonna happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I gotta get more practice. All my experience that I'm speaking from is from like the first 3 days of the set, because I left like right after that. I left Friday, so I played Wednesday, Thursday, and that's like it. So I really need to get back on it, but I'm leaving again on Thursday for like a full week. Although I can play some Runeterra like on the plane and stuff, but I'll probably end up really kicking it on post Christmas. I'll take. Do we know like when in the month the balance patch is going to be?
Yes.
It's like first week, right?
First week.
Yeah, it's the 5th.
Okay, so I'd have like a week to get good, bump up to whatever, and then balance patch comes out, and then I got to get good all over again. But I'd be with it, right?
A whole month though. It's a whole month this season.
It's so much easier to like learn something as the rest of the people are learning it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's hard to come in late, but I'll be there when it shifts, so shouldn't be that big of a problem.
It is kind of awkward this season. I don't know if you guys have ran into this where it's hard to. So like I'm playing a ton of Kennen Ezreal, right? Like I feel like this deck is broken as shit, and I really want to learn it. But I start looking at like, okay, there's a balance patch next month, and seasonals is in February. This deck's probably not going to be around by the time that the fucking seasonals comes. Like, I'm
And
putting
not in the
time
same
into it.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, what fucking tournament am I playing for?
Mhm.
Like outside of
The
community tournament.
Mastering Runeterra.
Yeah, so like the Master Terra tournament, right? But
That's
otherwise,
also
like,
after the patch though.
it's really awkward. I think personally because I'm like, what
Well, no,
big tournament am I practicing this
Here's-
deck for? If
here's
it's gonna
the
get,
thing.
like patched.
well, the thing is we don't actually know if the deck will get touched. We assume,
That's true.
and we don't know how hard. And because what they might do is they might just touch it a little bit, and they might just buff a bunch of other stuff up and be like, maybe that'll now these make a rain cost 1 or whatever and they're like rather than just kind of killing their baby like a month in. Because even like, what were the who was it that I think it was Alan suggested the landmark not hit champions or whatever? That's pretty reasonable. I think that would make a huge difference actually to the deck. But the deck's still very relevant, and so because I know what you mean. I've been there too, where I'm like, do I even bother putting a bunch of time and effort into this if it's just like everything's going to change? But what ends up happening is that like I don't put enough time and effort. Things don't change as much as I think they will, or not everything changes, right? Like, because like there's still lots of other decks to explore, and so not everything gets changed. Maybe a couple of things get changed, and then like we were just talking about, now I'm like way behind because I didn't put in that last month work. Everyone else is way ahead on a lot of these decks and what works, what doesn't, different matchups, and now I have like a bunch of catching up to do. So I found it's very detrimental to kind of handle it that way. And I've always had much better results where I hit it hard, and then when the big change comes, I'm like, I already know where things are going to go. I know what's going to be good because like, this was holding this down, and now it's coming over here. So I think that's like the better way to prepare and look at it anyway.
I was raising my hand and bouncing around because I had something to say, but I didn't want to interrupt you, and then realized that none of you can see me. So I felt a bit like an idiot. But here's what I had to say that I didn't consider until just now is the balance patch is the first week of January. Riot's currently on their break, and then they're coming back, and the balance patch comes out. The patch, more or less, is probably done.
Yeah, it's done.
It's done. They will fit in things if they think they need to. But I doubt we will see too many changes of new things.
I would
That's
probably like
extremely
think
frightening.
similarly.
They're off for 2 weeks.
They're gone.
Right? Like there's just no time.
Yeah, but we weren't supposed to get a balance patch with these cards, but we got, a placating Poppy nerf, right?
Yeah.
Like if there's enough bitching, and there is a ton
There's a lot of
bitching
bitching
right now.
Yeah. To be
I can
fair,
see-
People are
so
not
exactly-
good with that.
Here's the thing. How good is the deck without the landmark? Or because you don't play it if it can't hit Kennen, right?
I have no idea.
do you play the landmark of the K-hit Kennen? No.
No.
It's
So that's what I'm saying. How
harder
probably
to
still plays
shuffle
the deck.
cannons back,
probably still
right?
good enough.
Because you still have as many cannons to
it's
get like a second wave
it's
on
definitely
it.
not nearly as powerful. Not nearly as powerful.
A lot of the abusive things it does are when they godwall the Kennen, because suddenly you can't kill the Kennens, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I could try and kill this one, but this is a fake one, and they have another one,
And they have 5
if they
cannons
shuffled this,
And it
it's
lets them level super easy and
Lets
stuff
them-
too.
Lets them stun too on an
Yeah.
open.
Yeah, all
Oh,
kinds of stuff.
defensive godwill is broken as shit.
I
Free
expect
fucking palm.
my theory, what I expect, my prediction, that's the right word, is we will get if there was already a planned nerf to part of Kennen Ezreal, it will be an Eye of the Dragon. And then we might get a placating nerf similar to Poppy, right? One that like doesn't really do a ton, but it kind of does.
Yeah.
Like we see you. We'll touch this up a bit and we'll see where it goes, which is exactly the same as Poppy is, right? Because like the Poppy nerf, like, yeah, it's a nerf and that's great and everything, but like clearly she's still nuts and we all knew she'd still be really, really good. But it was just we know, here's something to tide you over. We'll check back in January, right? Like,
So, if there isn't any like serious hit to it, come patch.
Yeah.
How worried are we that they're just going to repeat Worlds? You remember the fucking patch after Worlds?
oh
like-
yeah.
Aziralia didn't get hit, Sivir didn't get hit. And then like 5 days later, they're like, oh, actually, by the way, sorry guys, let's remove these decks from the fucking game. Right?
Well, this is the problem. I've wanted to write this article for forever. After Bay wrote a case for
A case for Minimorph. Yeah.
a case for Minimorph. I wanted to back before Poppy got nerfed. I wanted to be like a case for Poppy or whatever the most busted deck is, because this is the thing. It's not the decks that are a problem. We were just talking about how best of 3 is wide open. Amazing format. It's beautiful. It's best of 1 that's the problem. There's always going to be decks that are just better, that are just like too damn good in best of 1. It happens every single format since we started the game. It will always happen. There's just always something that is TLC, Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate was Fizz.
Aziralia.
Aphelios.
Any of the
Aziralia.
Cyberpunks.
TLC. on and on and on and on, because there's always going to be something that's the best, and it's best of one that's the problem. So why are we trying to balance best of one? You're messing up our awesome tournament meta that we got going on. That's just totally fine. Just give us more best of three.
I feel a little bit like a broken record on this one, but I've been beating the drum since the beginning on this. Like
I have to.
Yeah, like we're when me and Jason Florent start agreeing on something, like
Get it together, Riot. We're coming down there.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Like I like best of three too, but I think a more balanced best of one can only really equal a more balanced best of three generally. But I think we have to accept that
best of one.
No, it's really, really hard. But you could get closer. But I think we have to accept that the majority of the player base does not play best of three and will not play best of three. That's not what they're interested in.
Why?
The majority. I don't even think the majority of player base plays
Here,
PvP.
check this out.
Like period.
Check this out. In Magic,
Yes.
you know how many people like Standard?
Different.
Not that many.
Magic's different.
They don't like it. In Magic, you play whatever format is the qualifier format.
No,
people hate them
most people
a
play
lot of the
Commander.
time.
They play Commander. They don't
No.
even play competitive formats. The most popular format in Magic is Commander, and it's not remotely close.
Yes, it is now. You are correct. I'm talking
I love Commander. Yeah.
pre-Commander. Oh, whatever. When was the last time you guys played Commander?
A couple weeks
Liars.
ago.
Never, because
No.
Lies.
I think it's
Anyways,
a fair
that's not
point
important.
that like a lot of the community, a lot of these people, a lot of Redditors and stuff, right? They aren't playing in community tournaments. They aren't playing in best of threes. Like they're playing in like gold and like they're playing best of ones and they're like, I really fucking hate running into Kennen Ezreal every fucking game. Can we not do this? I run to Poppy 8 out of 10 games. Can we not do this? It's like we have to balance that at some point.
This your argument though is like everyone plays Commander, so why should we balance Standard? Right?
No.
that's not
Why not?
what we're saying.
No, what I'm saying is that
Why not?
they're not going to jeopardize Commander just to make Standard better.
I mean, they didn't give a flying F about Commander until they could make money off of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Wizards, you know,
How do you
go on.
make money off of it?
But like what we want, what's good, what's best for us is not what's best for 99% of the community. I think a lot of those things line up.
We're talking about competitive though, right? And when they're balancing, I mean, I guess they're balancing for like the more casual crowd also.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah. It's honestly that's like honestly more important.
This will always happen in best of one though. So what's
Yes.
like, it's almost like what's the point? Like we're literally fighting like the ocean. Like we're fighting a never-ending battle. It's never going to be done. So like it just, I don't know. It makes no sense. I guess that we have to suffer also for it.
I don't know. I like it. I like best of one.
Best of one? You like best of one?
I just like playing the game.
I love the
It's having a
game.
good
Don't get me
time,
wrong.
man.
Don't get me wrong. I love the game. I even love the current meta.
Mhm.
I'm not like, oh, that's really can't ban it. No, I'm having a good time. I enjoy it a lot. But like it's gonna wear out real quick, like it always does.
It always
right?
does. But like, okay, so I am what you would consider to be an extremely competitive player. That's what right. That's what I am. Very competitive player. I play all the tournaments. I make competitive content. If you gave me like 2 formats to just play, if I was just going to play best of one or best of 3, I'd play best of 1.
Huh.
If you gave me something, but then if you said you have to hit rank 1 in the next week, best of 3 or best of 1 ladder, I'd play best of 3 ladder. But I enjoy fucking around on best of 1 because I just want to play Lee Sin with 3 karmas,
Okay.
right, or whatever I want to do.
Why can't we just have both? Like, it's
That's a
not-
great question.
It like the real answer here is that look, this is I guess the thing that I've been saying for a while. There's no reason to not have both of these ladders and have them on the same LP system.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you
Yeah,
there.
so-
Like Arena did it, we could do it.
I
just
think
don't
that
think it's gonna
exactly. So that's the better example I should be giving is that no one in their right mind is gonna balance best of 1 Magic Standard ever or even attempt it.
Yeah.
Because it's good because like
It doesn't
it's
work.
not a format. It's a joke. It doesn't work. No. You balance best of 3 or sorry, like yeah, I guess best of 3 normal sideboard Magic when you can. And for anyone that doesn't know, they just came out with Alchemy, which is their own digital version of Magic that they can just like nerf
That's
things
not-
and buff things whenever they want.
That has not come out to most people being happy about it, though. Let's be clear.
Most people
on
are
that one.
stupid.
Wizards
though.
could
It's
hand
amazing.
Magic players cash, and they would be pissed. Like,
That's
let's be
right.
real.
Yes. Thank you.
I sometimes feel that way about the LOR community too. Love you guys,
Yeah.
though I do.
Yeah, it's
When
less bad.
Control
but
and
sometimes
combo are
it's there.
broken. I mean, they're really, really bad and unplayable. Wait, we have a combo deck in the game? Wait, nerf it. Get it out of here.
That is
I also dislike
Everyone-
aggro and mid range.
Yeah, but also
Yeah.
Eye of the Dragon needs to go, and Decimate needs to be nerfed. What
I
gets
really
me
want is for my opponent to just like never play any cards and just let me do my thing. And if I win
yeah.
every game, I'm
They
happy.
want to play Path of Champions.
Yeah.
Against.
I want them
people.
to. I don't want it to be too easy either, though.
Yep.
You know, I want
Oh,
them to
man.
try real hard, and then I beat them.
I am being exposed to more and more of that from my YouTube comments. Is people will be like, "Hey, bro, I love your videos and stuff, but I really need you to make a video about how broken this is. That way, Riot will fix it." And they always name the weirdest cards. The weirdest cards. They're like, "Bro, Decimate is literally unbeatable. I need you to make a video about this so that Riot sees it."
That was
And I'm like,
me actually.
That probably was you. Yeah, and they'll name like a random ass deck that we haven't seen in 6 months. And they'll be like, "Bro, okay, that one Kindred deck, it's too good, man. They have to nerf it." Like completely unironically. You're like, what? Bro, Thresh
That
Nasus
Aphelios-
is too good. They
That
gotta nerf it.
Aphelios deck, it really needs
That's
to just
yeah.
take it down a notch.
Yep. I don't even click on most of the Reddit threads anymore. I used to be really like I would read all the Reddit posts before. I don't even go on the subreddit anymore usually. Like if something pops up that's like really interesting, I'll check it out. But like it's just so often just whining about whatever card they just lost to in the last game. And
See, so this is the thing. We've got like we're talking about two different things, right? We're talking about us who are hardcore competitive players, and we're talking about people that are much more casually inclined.
yes.
And what we want is best of 3, and what they want is something like Commander. And what we have is best of 1, which is not good for anyone. It's not good for them or us.
All right, from my perspective, we'd start this out as saying just, don't try and balance for best of 1. I think we have to balance for best.
You have to balance
At
best
some
of
point,
yeah.
because the majority of players are never going to play best of 3.
No, but get them something else though. Get them Commander.
The thing is, you do have to balance for best of 1, and you do the best you can to balance for best of 1. And I think what what Jason maybe is also trying to say here is that balancing for best of 1 is mostly just not going to work because of the way that best of 1 is set up, and because of the mindset that exists in card gamer communities. I don't think we've ever had a format that people were happy with. I don't think it's happened.
For very short periods of time until it got sussed out.
I mean, I've been happy with a lot of formats, but yeah, no,
When they
I'd
did-
be looking back.
Okay, but
you know.
like people, I've been happy with like
Yeah.
all the formats, but
Mhm.
like not us, people.
Yeah, I mean that's just never gonna happen. What I want, because like best of 1, I think is really important for the game because it's easily accessible and it's like the best like casual competitive format, right? What I want, and we've been saying our own versions of this forever. What am I and you want the best of 3, best of 1 ladder? I don't think we'll ever get a best of 3 ladder, like ever. Hard stop. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. So another thing we can do, and this is probably the 50th time I've said this, is I just want Gauntlet to be more important. I want Gauntlet open all the time, or I want Gauntlet leagues like
Yeah.
MTGO, right? Where you sign up for a league, you pay your Riot coins or whatever, and you win actual prizes or qualifications to stuff, and that'd be super sick.
Or how about an arena open where you win $2,500?
Yeah,
What?
that'd be
I'm
cool
talking
too.
about.
Do you know how many people would sign
I-
up for something like
So
that?
here's the question though. If
lot.
we're jumping back to the idea of all of these cool formats we've discussed this like 7 million times. If we're trying to balance best of 1 right now, how would you do it? I'm curious.
You can't. So why bother? What I would do is I would shake it up hard. I think if you're gonna try and balance, just shake it really hard. Buff a lot of things. I don't know why they're not doing more buffs. I want to see a lot more buffing stuff because that takes like more time to kind of suss things out and like try different stuff out so that by the time people have had their fill of trying all the different things out, you can do it all over again.
They have historically done more buffs than nerfs. It's just most of the cards
Really?
still suck. Yeah, no, it's someone posted the numbers. It's like
Damn.
it's like 60% buffs.
Well, they gotta
40%
buff
nerfs.
them harder. They gotta buff them harder than that. That's enough buff.
It's like a lot of the epic cards that no one's ever seen in a game before. They'll like buff them and then they're still bad. So you still don't. Like Rand Shadowblade is like almost there, and I think they buffed that card like twice.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if they buff cards you've never seen before, it's almost like releasing new cards.
That's
really
actually
exciting.
exactly what it feels like. Though.
Yeah. Exactly. They are new cards.
And then there's been some buffs that were like extremely successful. Like Lux, once she got Jace, was like that was a whole new archetype. Now you can play Lux. Like Lux was an incredibly competitive deck in the tournament format. You know, I'm blanking on other buffs because the cards that got buffed and I play so often are now. That's just how I see those cards.
I miss Braum. They buffed him, but they unbuffed him. Like, give me my hard control Braum back.
Wasn't he like bonkers though?
He was insane.
Yeah.
And it was the best.
Mm-hmm. He had like a power, like one power.
Yeah, he
1/5.
started with an attack. 1/5 Braum was the most broken shit.
What if just control was just never playable? What if that? And that'd be kind of cool.
No.
What if we just all
Isn't
played
that
mid-range?
where we're at now?
Yeah,
Except for
apparently.
Jordan?
Control's dead. Nobody play control.
Control-
It's
Okay,
dead.
this is
That's why
best of
these
3 doesn't
all
count though. We're
everything.
talking best of 1. We're talking best of 1 controls dead.
Oh, you can always play
Anivia
lane.
all through I played Anivia through most of Diamond. I played Anivia and Lee through Diamond so far.
I'm gonna play Anivia right after this. Yeah.
Okay, I don't think Lee counts though. Lee is like
He's
a
like a
different
control.
Lee as of now is a control
Like,
deck.
playing it
We're
wrong.
okay, but we're talking about like we're talking about traditional control with a bunch of removal spells
Yeah.
and like a stupid win condition.
That's great.
What about Field Amina? I played that to like front page.
No,
That was last season.
Oh, this
last
season. Oh, sorry, my bad. I don't know. I played 2 whole days of ladder. So
What have you done for me today?
yeah, not
I,
bad.
I
Oh.
think you're looking at it wrong. That's not really a control deck because I can't just play that. I can't win with that, so it's not.
It's not a control.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't
that
play
tracks.
Ruination and also Avalanche, therefore not control.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
I'm like
wasn't
the top
wasn't there
edge.
this deck with like a billion removal spells and some card draw, and you played some Shellfolk, and that's kind of like a control deck, right?
that one was
No,
good.
no,
That's-
No,
that's- that was
Got
good.
otters in
I've
it, for
I
God's
played
sake.
Glorious Evolution, bro. I'm comboing.
Oh, okay, combo deck, got it.
Okay. Last time I'll hark on this, but seriously though, why could we not have it where in Masters only you could play best of 1 or best of 3 on the ladder? Does that not seem like a very? That's what I freaking thought!
The ladder queue would suck, bro.
Yeah,
I'd play against the
play
same
at night,
person
right?
over and over and over. I already play against the same person.
I already play against the same people over and over.
Could you imagine
But
if you
it's
Also,
split it?
get rid of shards while we're at it, for God's sake.
Well, that's not gonna happen either.
Okay. Yeah, we're in a fantasy land now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because they can't do the thing that they did 6 months ago.
They can't. Yeah, they can't. I think one thing we
No, they
constantly
can't.
forget is that like, how profitable is Runeterra? Kind of.
Jason, let me know when your fairy godbrother shows up, and we'll talk. Okay.
I'll send her my wish list.
Right?
Like
You guys are just a bunch of pessimists.
Yes.
Okay. I pulled an $8,000 Runeterra tournament out of my butt. Okay, with nothing more than my charm and my fucking wits and my Majin. Okay. So all of you guys, we can't do it. No, think of this, think of that. Like, come on. Just a bunch of you guys are the problem. Right?
we're the problem. I mean,
I
the thing-
literally had to mute myself because I couldn't control how hard I was laughing. You calling me a pessimist? That's
I
that's
am
a new
okay.
one.
I am a pessimist though. So yeah. No.
Yeah, you got lumped in with them. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He's also talking about me because every time he's like, "Bro, wouldn't this be sick?" I just go, "No." He's like, "Then this is gonna happen." I'm like, "No, that won't happen."
I think the issue is that we come
About
in,
everything.
we're in a very secluded community within Twitch, right? Within like content creation. Like the people that we communicate with a lot of the times aren't like the vast majority of the player base. So as much as we're like, okay, this might help out, this might fix it. If you look at just what the vast majority of players want and like who you kind of have to cater to have a player base, I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus
I mean-
we split queues, guys, at night. Come on, you think I'm
Yeah.
queuing into people?
Bro, I
have
have
my
to wait.
player base?
Yeah, I wait 3
Yeah,
minutes
you
to play
have
against the same
to-
guy again. Like, I don't want to do that.
I agree. It's been pretty bad. Hey, does anyone know play rates? Like last season, we all knew it was abysmal. Yeah, I thought it was going to pick up with the new cards and stuff, but like, yeah, some of these wait times, I'm waiting like 3 or 4 minutes to get a match.
You're the first one in
Um,
Masters.
To be clear,
you're
yeah.
not-
There's like 10 people there.
Could you
Flat-
rate
Don't they
it?
just
Flat-
don't they just parry you down?
They try not to.
I think the thing in Masters is like it has like a set amount of time. It's like you have to wait X minutes before I'm gonna throw you against a diamond player.
Yeah.
And like that's great
Oh.
later in the season, but if you race to Masters, like you're gonna end up if there's no other Masters players playing, you're gonna end up in like a long queue.
Yeah, it's gonna be like.
But
a few
has
minutes.
LOR like ever put out numbers in terms of like how many people play and like how many people play ranked
Yeah.
and like rank distributions and stuff?
They don't
Yeah,
put that out for
we
league either.
no, we have from the API. You can
League.
see how many matches have been played and how many people there are at each rank. So just by like how many matches played, you can tell how much is being played, right? Like,
I haven't.
I haven't.
yeah,
seen
all
it.
the guys that do the stats, they have it. Last season, when everyone was talking about the game is dying or whatever, they were like, and there was not enough people in Masters. They were like, these are how many matches have been played this season compared to previous ones, and yeah, it was like way down.
I expect that it
And
has
I'm
picked up
curious.
quite a bit, but I still think that like so many people play Path of Champions. Like so many people.
But you just think that.
I do.
Whenever I want to think something positive, like, nah, we can't get past the 3Q. And you're like, I think lots of people have played Path of Champions.
Well-
I'm like, you have no basis whatsoever. You're like, I just think it though. So
The
it's okay.
things like I don't think we're gonna get best of 3Q. What was the other one? I don't think we're gonna get shards back. These are things they have like said to us in one way or another, right? Like when we ask, we're like, "Hey, are shards coming back?" They're like, "Not for the foreseeable future."
Yeah,
That's
I
a
know
no,
that they've
right?
said
Like-
that, Bay. I was in those meetings as well, but that's not that's lots of things like, hey, we're not gonna have a patch before Worlds. Well, guess what?
Just because they said they wouldn't doesn't mean I can't complain about it.
That's true.
It doesn't mean they're not just gonna like knee-jerk reaction and do it.
They
If
definitely
I
could do
complain enough,
I'm not gonna lie. Like I know that cheesed a lot of other people off, but I loved when they did the patch before Worlds.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic.
yeah,
It was the right thing to do.
fantastic.
I have to
Yeah.
figure out the entire format in a week. Let's go.
That was so sick. And then I was like, oh, because like you sat there and you went, oh, I could play this cool lineup. And then you're like, ah, pink yellow exists. Ah, Silver Demacia exists, right? And that was just like every single lineup. And then they just nerfed them, and you're like, I can play the game. Like these new cards, I get to use them. This is so sick.
I
I
mean,
do what I want.
on one hand, for sure, but on the other hand, Azir really did nothing wrong. At that point in the game, that was
Yeah,
just
that was-
kicking it down. It was
Yeah.
already a dead deck.
But like people hated it so much that you nerf it just so people don't have to play against it anymore at that point.
I agree. That's why
Fiora
I'm
also
saying
did
even if we
nothing wrong.
don't see like a big patch that changes like Kennen Ezreal at the
Mhm.
beginning of January, I'm worried about January like 17th when they're like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
fuck your deck.
And you in particular. Yeah, Chad I think has it right. Fiora could come back.
No, Fiora deserved it. Fuck Fiora.
At the time, she did.
I'm sorry.
At the time
Really
she did.
did nothing wrong, but Fiora deserved it. Fight
Yeah,
me, bro.
absolutely. I
I
stand
was
by
ready
both of
for
those.
Fiora to leave, but I think she could come back now.
I think Aurelia would be like strong right now if they didn't hit flawless duet for 2.
God,
Yeah,
that's
really?
such a big.
That'd be great, right?
It'd be
Now.
insane.
Are you kidding me? That deck
So
would be
Okay,
good.
okay, I got one. All decks never nerfed, and I'm talking since Bay and I started playing because we don't know back to you guys' crazy caveman days. Since seasonals,
Okay.
decks at their height of power, you put them all against each other. Who's on top? Like who's
No 4-mana catalyst, no burst speed glimpse, none of
No.
that, huh?
If Stars
No,
Select,
no, 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 no,
TF is
no,
and
no.
Aphelios.
since like go hard time.
Go hard TF is and Aphelios.
It's got to be.
Wow.
Yeah, in Azir. I would have to say, probably still TF is, and
I think
Aphelios
it's
close
probably- I
second.
think it's probably TF is. I think
Doesn't
out of all-
Azir BTF is?
No.
No. It tries though.
I don't
Really?
think that like I don't think TFS is beating it like every time.
Yeah, it can. It can.
I think
But-
we sometimes forget. We lived with like nerfed Azir Aurelia for so long. We forget like Azir flipping on 4.
No, it was pretty. It was bonkers. Yeah, it was busted. Like Azirelia killing you on
If
4.
you flip your at 0 on 4 and I flip my TF on 5, I think I'm still winning.
You can only red card once per turn, bro. I can
I do think TF is his favorite. In like height of their power level, I put TF is winning probably 3 of 5 times. Not like incredibly favored, right? But just enough.
Anything else come close? Like Aphelios a little slow,
Aphelios.
Aphelios a little slow.
Aphelios is probably tied for second in my eyes with.
I think
Aurelia.
the issue with Aphelios is that this was like literally the second strongest deck we've seen ever, but it existed at the time as the first strongest.
Yeah.
It's like we forget
Yeah.
that Aphelios was the most broken shit you could be doing.
Yeah, like Temple.
Almost.
Oh my god.
Honestly, that deck was so overrated.
That
That
deck-
deck was so overrated.
That deck was so good, dude. Zoe
Oh my
Aphelios was
God.
insane.
No.
It was
No.
so good. That deck could beat anything, man. It was.
Uh, That deck was extremely overrated. All you need to
Love
do
that
is
deck.
to beat it with Place Guys Descent.
Oh
honestly.
my god. Oh my god.
Ionia Aphelios.
So
Yeah.
good.
Guys,
I mean,
So
that's
good.
that's Lee Aphelios, right? Lee Aphelios with Deny, you got it.
Or like any Ionia.
I played that. It was busted.
you
That's
did
fair.
play that. You did. I played Tom
I'm
Kench.
I'm just saying, when it comes time to talk about control decks not being real, we kind of forget that Aphelios and TLC and Lee Sin like kind of shit on.
Wait,
lot
Aphelios
of
was a
things.
control deck, right?
Aphelios was a
It
good
was.
deck for sure.
Of course,
Targon
the
back
control deck
Targon
was-
back in the day was like when I came to the game and Targon was huge. Like I was like, oh, you just can't play aggro in this game. It's not a thing. It
No,
doesn't
yeah,
exist.
that's
It'll
how I
never-
felt. I
It'll
was like,
never,
I like
it'll
this.
never exist. It'll
Hey,
never exist ever.
Fangs was a
Fangs.
pretty okay card. Not gonna
Fangs was
lie.
alright.
Fangs was pretty okay.
I loved crescendoming and then picking Severum and putting it on my box to push.
Oh.
It went. Oh my god, when fucking Temple buffed up your guy.
yeah.
He just never died.
+1.
Oh yeah.
You'd like
And then you just cycled through all your.
you just
fucking
cycle. Yeah, you
weapons
crescendo
twice
into
per
box
turn.
to push. Then you calibrum something, get the mana back from Temple. Your box to push is a 4/5. Insane, man. Yeah, no, that deck
Aphelios
was where
did
it was
nothing
at.
wrong. Bring Aphelios back.
Bring Aphelios back. They're like trying to edge him in without making him like insane, and it's just not doable.
I'm down to bring Aphelios back if you just like kick Box to Puss in the nuts. Like it's fine. Just like
Agreed.
get rid of that interaction. He's fine.
I mean, Crescendom's been kind of on the chopping block for a while. The Crescendum interaction is really strong.
What if you just change Crescendum to be 1 mana follower? So it just like nerfs the
Oh.
fuck out of it.
Wow, that sucks so bad. Oh my god.
Excuse me?
But the weapons become 2 mana again.
What one drop would I want to pull?
I'm certain that I could break that. I'm like
Zoe.
99% certain I could break that.
You can pull Zoe.
It's a faller. It's a faller.
Fuck.
I know. I don't need to use Kennen to do it. Like I'm gonna
You could
I'm
bring
gonna
all
search
in
for
line.
followers.
Easy
You can,
clap.
like,
Nice.
That sounds
Fizz is
good. That
basically a
sounds really
follower.
good.
to put this.
You could do that.
So like realistically, if the
Yes, you
issue with
showed
the
me that.
Aphelios going back down to 2 weapons, like Crescendo was really cool and like really broken. But like by turn 5, you kind of didn't have shit to pull anymore, right? Like
Yeah.
you were just cycling Gravitums and Calibrums and
Yeah.
just like controlling the entire fucking board.
If you make
Grab
weapons
it.
2 mana again,
Lost.
and you don't change the effects, even if you change like Crescendo, if Crescendo was 10 mana and the other weapons were 2 mana, Aphelios would still be really good. Like really
But
good.
would he be too good though?
I don't think
Pretty
so.
sure if Azir Rally was on, doesn't Azir Rally beat Aphelios?
Yeah.
Realistically.
Oh, I'm just
Like-
I
like
was
if-
I wasn't talking in our unnerf format. I was just speaking
Yeah.
in the future, right? Like if they did that right now.
God, TF is plus Azir Rally in a lineup.
I mean, the other thing you could do, and like people don't talk about this, but you could just have some weapons cost 3 and some weapons cost 2. It's
Yeah.
allowed.
You
Yeah.
can.
Exactly.
That'd be so awkward.
Yeah.
I see it, but how do you balance like Gifts from Beyond with that?
It becomes
gives-
the worst card, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, just keep it at 1. Well, I mean,
Maybe.
so the ones that would be 2 mana would be Severum and Infernum, right?
Yeah.
And the others would be 3.
Maybe Gravitum.
Maybe Gravitum. Gravitum could be 2. Yeah.
Okay, if you put it in such a way that like maybe you have to like cycle A3 costs in with each of your rotations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But
cool.
what you do is you put Calibrum and Crescendum at 3, right? If you're gonna do it that way, you give the other ones 2 mana and you put Calibrum and Crescendum at 3.
Monty saying Ruben's talked about how they considered it. They don't want to do it because it'd be confusing. Yeah, I get that.
Aw.
What if the second weapon
Boo.
you play every turn is 3 mana?
It goes up 1
Or it's
mana
cheaper.
every
Like,
weapon
what
you
the
cast.
first
per
one
turn.
is 3 mana and the second one's 2 mana if you play it in the same turn.
That sounds
That'd be
even more
interesting.
confusing.
Yeah, I mean, Aphelios is confusing. That's the whole point of his entire league kit. You have to have
Confuse your opponent
yeah.
to death until they surrender.
you have to play Aphelios with 2 monitors. That way you can have the owner's manual on the other one.
I remember the first week of playing Aphelios.
Yeah,
That's
you just
fun.
pressed R and people exploded. That's all you had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are some problem cards right now in the format / problem decks. But I really like playing these cards.
Bro, you haven't played all weekend, okay?
You're right.
Don't
I
even.
haven't. Yeah, you're right. But like,
Go get smashed by Ezreal Kennen like 20 games in a row, then come back on the podcast.
I will. That's what I have to do today, tomorrow, and the next day because I have to record like 3 videos a day to have them.
Bay is just going to be an Ezreal Kennen main and be like, this letter's fantastic. What's
Well,
it
I mean,
looking
okay, come on. You knew that was going to happen already.
Yeah, no one's surprised. No one's surprised.
Yep.
I feel you. I'm coming from like I love Kennen Ezreal and it's super fucking fun to play. Like I am a big supporter of this deck. But also I've played against this deck and like sometimes it's broken as shit. You just want to off yourself. Like
Yeah.
I'm playing Pantheon. How the fuck do I ever win this game?
You don't.
I just don't. I literally just don't. You know, I'll just go,
Yeah.
you know, go next, I guess.
That's what I felt
It's too
about
good.
Zed
The
Poppy
deck is too good.
last season. It was just like sometimes they just play their champs
No.
and rally you, and you're like,
This
Dope.
this is way
No.
stronger than Zed Poppy.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I was just saying that was the feeling that you just go, oh, what they're doing is just way better than what I'm doing. This
Do you think
sucks.
it's like
Yeah.
way stronger or is it just
No.
like different?
It's
strong?
different. It also like feels worse. It feels
Like
No,
worse.
I
to
think
lose
it's-
you're
to.
not allowed to do anything strong. as
It-
opposed
it
to,
feels-
like, kill
mind
you.
playing to Zed Poppy.
It feels like a deck to me that if you played perfectly, your win percentage is like astronomical.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like 80-90% or something
I
stupid.
think the difference between like this deck power and Zed Poppy power is when Zed Poppy is being super busted, it'll kill you on turn 5, and this deck is still gonna wait until turn 10. Like, and you're gonna feel horrible the whole way because you're gonna be dead by turn 5 or 6, but you're gonna have to sit there and take it.
The amount of times that I just sit there like passing on full mana over and over because I'm staring at 3 fucking marks in their hand. It's like I guess I'm not allowed to play
Yeah.
this game
Go.
ever.
Go.
At least
Yeah.
that Poppy, I
Go.
had to I had to like play down cards and then they would like stop it and I would die and it's like okay
Mhm.
whatever.
What do you think
Yeah.
if they make the marks cost 1?
Oh, that's a dead card.
I think that makes Kennen awful, but I might be okay with that.
You'd have to make
That's
it
my hot
at
take.
least do 3 damage. At least.
That might be interesting.
You'd have to compensation buff it. Because like that's a
That'd be fair.
miserable
Just
card.
like making
That's
Kennen
fair.
hard to level is just like fair. Like
But if
The
make
other
it,
thing
oh
is
yeah,
you
make it
could
6 or
do-
7.
level.
Yeah, the other thing you could do is you could do like marks to 1 and leveled marks still 0.
maybe. What if
Well,
marks to 1 but Kennen has a tune?
0 mana Kennen?
Wait, is that better?
Come on, man.
That's
What are you talking about?
Did
What are
you
you talking
just
about?
I
drop
think it's a
Kennen?
good idea.
What if he's a 4/4?
What?
Does that change anything?
Alright.
Yeah, he has a loose hand.
Peace.
Yeah, but he's got
Hey, bro.
him comes in with spell shield. It seems great. I like all of
I mean,
this.
it's like worst post level, right? I mean, you know, you can't play 6. You aren't getting 6 attunes in a turn. So if you're playing 6 marks, it's a little bit less.
Yeah, I mean,
worse.
yes, it is slightly worse. It honestly like the 1 mana 2/1 quick attack with a 2 and that gives you a discardable spell on its own is just absolutely absurd.
I know, I love that.
You know what? Even
Not
how about
play
like
Kennen Ezreal.
what if you didn't get the mark when it was blocked, when it was leveled? I think that would be a good touch.
I think that's like too late.
It might
I
be,
think
I
we're
don't know,
calling
it's
a pretty
pretty
bad
fucking
spot.
but I feel you because it's always rough when you're sitting there. You're like,
You
know,
can't
getting
block it, right? If
half
it's leveled, you
block,
just
but I
can't ever block
can't.
it. You can't ever block it.
yeah.
So
unless
taking
you're
that
just,
away makes a big
specifically
difference.
dying.
The only thing that you can do is like, you know, they're attacking with Kennen, so they have at least 2 marks. You have to block them and block Ezreal. So they have to like choose, but then they still have Ezreal and they're still doing like 8 fucking damage. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
I don't want my strategy to be like not play any units. It feels
Yeah.
like pretty bad.
It's an unfun play pattern to play against. Like
I think just taking away the blocking mark makes a huge difference. I think the deck's
I
still
know.
super
Just
good. Deck
nerf
is still super good.
Ezreal.
Please don't.
Don't do that.
No,
Right?
maybe
Whoa.
Bro, Draven Ezreal has
Yeah.
caught so many fucking
It's-
straight
yeah,
bullets from
Ryan's
Dead.
throwing haymakers and Scion's ducking, and Ezreal just keeps getting punched in the mouth.
Oh my god, what is that? What is that meme? What is that meme that's like someone's like shooting a bunch and they're like, this person did it. or
Yeah,
something?
why would Scion do this?
yeah.
We were talking about going a little bit back to like how playing against Kennen Ezreal, the way you have to play feels miserable sometimes. This weekend, I was talking to a bunch of people, and like League came up because like some people at like the event like played League and some people didn't, and we were joking about the miserable experience that is top lane sometimes. And someone was like, "Why does it suck so much? You're just in a lane by yourself, right? Like I don't get it." And the other person was like, "Okay, well here's the problem: is like sometimes you get counterpicked really hard in top lane, and nobody's gonna help you." And they're like, "Oh well, like I mean that just sucks. But like, do you just not win?" And they're like, "No, you can win." But the problem is you have to purposefully lose for so long, and it feels so bad, and like it just sucks to play against. And that's kind of how Kennen Ezreal feels. It's like you can't play your units, You just gotta have to sit there. You're still probably gonna lose, but like, even if you do, it just feels miserable, man. But I
kinda
love
just have to,
playing the
sit
deck.
there and like eat shit for like 20 minutes and then hope that at the end of it you'll get something else. Maybe you'll get a nice sandwich.
a little bit
Until
of
then, it's just
20
a lot of
LP
shit.
sprinkled into your account.
Yeah,
Who knows? Yeah,
I don't know.
it's tough. It's tough.
Just make Kennen hard to level. Like make a 7
7.
That's a lot.
7 is a lot.
or 6.
Seven's then like that's so high that unless you're doing degenerate things, you'll never level Kennen,
Yeah.
right? I don't think you want that.
Mm,
I don't know if they made God Willow just like not hit champions, then they can't copy Kennen, they can't copy Ezreal, they can't copy Eye of the Dragon. Suddenly we're like kind of chilling. Maybe it's
Willow's just such a cool card.
I don't want to nerf God Willow. It's tight though. It's
Just
so
making
sick.
Kennen 6 would solve a good amount. Just makes like the counter decks a little bit better. Just because
Yeah.
you have a little bit more opportunity to kill Kennen.
Yeah, I'm sure that I imagine they'll do something.
I feel like Wayfinder is like literally just a card that is never played, and it's cool that it's being played, and I think it's a cool card. Why are we nerfing Wayfinder? I don't.
Cause it's kind of nuts. You
Yeah,
just
but,
have
like,
3 cannons on turn 4, and
It's
you're like,
without Wayfinder, Kennen probably isn't that great.
yeah, Kennen loses a
you
lot
have
of
to play
steam.
with, like a bad fucking shell like
You
Ahri.
just
Or
can't get
something.
more, or like
Who
you like
would
I
have
don't know, like
thought?
hourglass Kennen to get multiple Kennens out. Like
Who would have thought that cheating on mana and tutoring things into play would have been busted? Who
Not
could
me,
have
dude.
Possibly foreseen that coming.
I mean, Wayfinder's been around for a very long time though.
What about Temple Kennen Ezreal? Get the mana back from the marks.
Damn, bro, it's so sick. I
Broke
miss
it.
Temple, man. That card was busted. I've never been more wrong on like card analysis in my life, dude.
Card too.
Yeah, I was like, this card is literally unplayable.
oh god.
And then I remember playing against someone who had 3 copies, and I was like, thanks for the free win, bro. And then like they beat me, and I was like, wait. It's like, wait a second. And then it kept losing to it, and I was like,
Doing that.
fine, chat. I'll play one Temple. And then it like popped off for me in the game, and I was like,
Okay.
wait a
The
second.
pure dopamine rush you get from every single Temple proc,
Oh
I
my
think is
God.
worth it being in there.
Yeah, no, you're so right though. You're so right. It just feels so
But
good.
like, unironically for like Kennen Ezreal, I think it's really similar to playing against Nami, where people feel like there was just like nothing you could do. And
Mhm.
it's like, this
Yeah.
is broken as shit. I never want to play against this.
Yeah.
And I,
mean,
feel like
yeah.
towards the end of Nami's lifespan, we like figured out how to play against her, and it wasn't that big of a deal. And I wonder if we're going to get to that point against Kennen Ezreal where it's like playing against it is not super intuitive. It's something that we're going to have to figure out. And once we figure it out, is this deck even going to be? It's still going to be good, but is it going to be like as broken as it is right now? I don't think so.
Yeah. No, that's
I think it's the opposite.
You think it's just gonna get better? Think it's TF Fizz?
3-1.
Yep.
Like, just
I
take
think the
out
Kennen. I think
Kennen's
Kennen.
point.
Think what?
Leveled Kennen as a 3-1. Just take away the health point.
That's I mean that's a good start.
That would do it also. Yeah, I think it's the Kennen Ezreal players are going to get better and better and better,
Yeah.
and it's gonna feel worse and worse and worse.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I definitely feel that because this is a very difficult deck to play, and I think that most people who are playing it are like constantly misplaying because there's
Yeah.
so many decision points, and it's very difficult. All the lines, not all the lines are like super intuitive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like how playing against Nami, I think a lot of the lines to play against them weren't super intuitive, and like we had to figure out, oh, I guess I just have to like hold up mana always. But like if I, maybe I don't need to kill Nami, maybe I just need to kill their elusives, and like suddenly I'm winning. And like if we figure out that way to play against Kennen Ezreal, I wonder if that's going to offset it.
Yeah, no, I hear what
makes
you're
sense,
saying.
but-
I hear what you're saying. I just think that the Nami deck had some other issues with consistency and with being really slow out of the gate that really hurt it.
I think this
And
deck has some potential.
It does also it has some issues as well for sure.
Less so.
I think we're in
but
the
I think
honeymoon
less so,
phase.
yeah.
I've had some fucking hand states where I literally had 0 playable cards in my hand until turn 6.
Yeah.
Literally 0 playable cards in my hand until turn 6. And I had to like on turn 6 I had to like pod and then twin my pod so I had like hand space. It was fucking awful.
That sounds
Nothing
like
is
gas,
new.
dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying that I think that there are issues. I think we're in the honeymoon phase. I think that, in a month we'll be like, okay, this isn't the most consistent deck in the world. It's still very, very good. There are some shitty hand states.
There's a lot of times where you sit there with like your one Kennen that you're just keeping alive, and you're like, Ezreal's somewhere in the deck, right? And so it's like a race.
It isn't
like,
killing you without.
do you
it.
draw more ways to keep Kennen alive, or
This
do they
is-
draw
okay.
more answers?
I've BBG's been playing this deck a whole crap ton, right?
Yeah.
And I've been playing against BBG a bunch because there's not many of us in Masters. And so I was like, beat him decent amount, beat him decent amount, beat him less, beat him less, beat him less. And now it's just like, I'm just like, fuck, can I buy a win? Because he's just gotten better and better and better and better at playing the deck. Admittedly, small sample size, but like every time I play against him, it's like, it just feels so fucking hard to do anything. Like he understands the deck very well. He understands how I'm trying to counteract him very well, and so thus he picks his timing perfectly. And there's just like, it just starts to feel like, like, oh, I'll have lots of removal. I'll have early action. I'll have early action and removal. And it's just like, it's just fucking never enough. And so yeah, I think it's going to go that direction. I think just as the players get better at playing the deck, it's going to get tougher. I think the only way it switches is if we come up with some lists that are better against the deck, because that's very new. I'll give you that. I think that new decks and new archetypes and new lists could definitely start bubbling up that could attack it, but like it
People
requires
are already
that.
like checking their decks. Like the fucking
know.
group shot single combat pop
And
lists
it's
are
still not
hard
good
to
enough.
make. It's hard to play against. Like it makes a difference. I think it takes a matchup that like was slightly favored for Kennen Ezreal, and it's like not anymore. But
I can get on board with that. All right, guys. Anything else we want to talk about real quick before you guys head out? And I play some Anivia for no reason.
Okay, real quick. We haven't talked about this in a while, but I just want to touch on it. If we could just get best of 3 ladder,
Oh my God.
best of 3 ladder, best of 3. Oh, okay, all right. Sorry.
Is that just
Bye,
make
guys.
it your stream titles for like a month?
Like anyone would care.
Yeah. But you could do it. You could do it. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on. Good luck on your laddering journey.
Later, boys. Oh wait, hold on, real quick. Everyone, sign up. Qualifier number 2 for our 5K championship tournament this Sunday. Go hit it up. masterguitar.com.
Be there or be square. All right. See you guys.
Bye.